it's happening right now. As you're reading this, Saturn and Neptune are meeting at 0 degrees Aries, the rarest alignment in 9,000 years. The last time these two planets stood at this exact degree, humans were just learning to plant seeds instead of hunting animals. We're talking about the birth of agriculture, the moment we stopped wandering and started building. And today, that same energy is available to you, except instead of building villages, you're building wealth. Instead of planting crops, you're planting your financial destiny. And instead of hoping the harvest comes, you're watching your dreams become structure in real time. But here's the split that's happening right now. The women who understood the assignment, who planted their desires yesterday, when the baby moon was in Pisces, who felt into what they actually wanted and wrote it down and burned the old and slept on the new, those women are experiencing something extraordinary today. Their dreams are becoming real, not metaphorically real, actually, structurally, undeniably real. Opportunities are showing up that match exactly what they planted. Money is moving in ways that reflect their desires. People are responding to them differently because their energy just shifted from wanting to having. And the women who didn't plant, who spent yesterday in their minds instead of their hearts, who were too busy or too scared or too logical to actually choose what they wanted, they're experiencing something completely different today. Their default patterns are becoming structure. Their unconscious fears are becoming permanent. The life they've been living is becoming the life they're going to keep living for the next 36 years. Not because they chose it, because they didn't choose anything else. And Saturn doesn't wait for you to be ready. He structures whatever's there when he arrives. I'm going to tell you exactly what's happening right now. Why this conjunction is different from every other astrological event you've experienced. What the women who planted are receiving. What the women who didn't plant are losing. And what you can still do in these final hours if you're realizing you missed the planting window. But first you need to understand what Saturn and Neptune meeting at 0 degrees Aries actually means, because this isn't just another transit. This is the moment when the feminine dream becomes masculine reality. Athena was born fully formed, fully armored, ready for battle. That's what's happening to your dreams today. Let me tell you about Athena. In Greek mythology, she didn't have a childhood. She didn't grow gradually. She was born from Zeus's head, already adult, already wearing full armor, already carrying a spear and shield. One moment she didn't exist. The next moment she was complete, fully formed, ready to fight. And that's the energy of Saturn meeting Neptune at 0 degrees Aries. Your dreams don't gradually unfold anymore. They manifest completely, instantly, with structure already built in. Neptune is the dream, the vision, the infinite possibility, the feminine energy that sees what could be. And Saturn is the structure, the discipline, the form, the masculine energy that makes things real. And for the past few months, Neptune has been in Aries alone, showing you visions of what you could become, whispering possibilities, opening portals to new realities. But without structure, those visions stayed visions. Beautiful, inspiring, but not real. Today, Saturn arrives. And he doesn't arrive gradually. He meets Neptune at the exact same degree, 0 degrees Aries, thy beginning of everything. And when these two planets occupy the same space, something alchemical happens. The dream, Neptune, and the structure, Saturn, don't stay separate. They merge, they become one thing, a structured dream, a disciplined vision, a realistic fantasy. And whatever you were dreaming about when they met, that's what gets built. The women who are experiencing their dreams becoming real today, they understand something that broke women don't. Dreams aren't soft. Dreams are information. They're blueprints. They're architectural plans that your soul downloaded from the future. And when you treat them like information instead of like escapes, when you actually plant them with intention, Saturn shows up and says, "Oh, you want this? Let me build it for you." And he doesn't build it slowly. He builds it like Athena was born, fully formed, fully armored, ready to fight for its right to exist. What's actually happening right now, and why rich women are receiving while broke women are waiting. So let me get specific about what's happening today, because the mechanics of this matter. Saturn and Neptune are at 0°45 Aries. That's not just the beginning of Aries, that's the beginning of the entire zodiac. The 360-degree wheel starts at 0 degrees Aries. So when major planets meet here, they're not just affecting one sign, they're affecting the entire system. They're resetting the foundation that everything else is built on. And this reset happens every 36 years when Saturn and Neptune meet. But it almost never happens at 0 degrees Aries. The last time was so long ago we don't even have records of it. Astrologers estimate around 7000 BC, before written language, before cities, before civilization as we know it. And what happened after that conjunction? Humanity stopped being nomadic and started being agricultural. We learned to plant seeds and wait for harvest. We built permanent structures instead of temporary shelters. We created civilization. That's the scale of what's available today, not a personal shift, a civilizational shift, a complete restructuring of what it means to be alive. And on an individual level, it's the moment when your personal dreams stop being personal and start being structural. When what you want stops being a nice idea and becomes the actual architecture of your reality. The women who planted yesterday, who used that baby moon in Pisces to feel into their desires and write them down with intention, here's what they're experiencing today. First, unexpected structure. Something they've been wanting shows up with a complete system already built around it. Maybe it's a business opportunity that comes with the team, the funding, and the infrastructure already in place. Maybe it's a relationship that shows up mature, boundaried, and ready for commitment. Maybe it's money that arrives with a plan for how to grow it. But whatever it is, it's not just the thing, it's the thing plus the structure to maintain it. Second, instant discipline. And this is wild. They're finding it easy to do things that used to be hard, to maintain boundaries that used to feel impossible, to show up consistently in ways they used to struggle with, not because they're trying harder, because Saturn just installed the discipline directly into their nervous system. What was willpower yesterday is automatic today. Third, respected authority. People are treating them differently, with more respect, more seriousness, more willingness to invest, because their energy shifted from dreaming to building, from wanting to having, and people feel that shift even if they can't name it. So opportunities that required convincing yesterday are showing up without negotiation today. Fourth, long-term vision. They can see the next 36 years clearly, not every detail, but the direction, the trajectory, the path from here to there. And it doesn't feel overwhelming. It feels obvious, like, of course, this is what they're building, like it couldn't be any other way. And fifth, peace, deep, settled, unshakable peace, because they're not wondering anymore if their dreams are possible. Saturn just proved they're not just possible, they're inevitable, they're already being built. The structure is already in place. All they have to do is show up and let it unfold. Now, the women who didn't plant yesterday, who spent that baby moon waiting, researching, overthinking, asking permission, making sure it was realistic before they committed to wanting it, here's what they're experiencing today. Structure around their default. Saturn showed up, and he structured whatever was already running. And what was running was fear, hesitation, the same patterns they've been running for years. And now those patterns have infrastructure. They're not just habits anymore. They're systems, permanent, difficult to change, 36-year systems. They're also experiencing the opposite of those 5 things. Instead of unexpected structure, they're getting unexpected obstacles. Instead of instant discipline, they're finding it harder than ever to be consistent. Instead of respected authority, they're being dismissed or undervalued. Instead of long-term vision, they can't see past next week. And instead of peace, they're anxious, wondering why everyone else seems to be moving forward while they're stuck. Pisces, your financial reality just became permanent, and it matches what you felt 48 hours ago exactly. If you're a Pisces sun, moon, or rising, Saturn just moved into your second house, the house of money, resources, values, self-worth, and he joined Neptune, who's been there whispering about a different way to create wealth, a way that doesn't require you to become hard, a way that uses your sensitivity as strategy, a way where dreaming is working. Here's what's happening for you today. Whatever you believed about money 48 hours ago during that baby moon in your sign, that belief just became your financial operating system for the next 36 years. If you believed money flows easily to you because you're intuitive, Saturn just built you a financial structure where that's true, where your sensitivity attracts clients who pay premium prices specifically because you feel deeply, where your dreams generate income because they're actually blueprints for products people need. But if you were still believing the old story, that you have to be more practical to make money, that your dreams are distractions from real work, that sensitivity is a liability in business, Saturn just made that belief structural, and now you're going to spend the next 36 years trying to be someone you're not in order to make money that never quite arrives. Here's what to do today, if you planted correctly. Double down. Whatever desire you wrote down 2 days ago, take one concrete action toward it today, not tomorrow, today. Because Saturn rewards movement, he structures dreams that are in motion, not dreams that are waiting for permission. So if you wrote, I create wealth through art, sell something today. If you wrote, I'm paid for my intuition, offer a reading. If you wrote, money flows to me easily, open yourself to receive, take the tiniest step, and watch Saturn build infrastructure around it. And if you didn't plant, if you're realizing right now that you missed the window, here's what to do. Plant today. It's late. The ideal time was yesterday, but Saturn is still within 1 degree of Neptune for the next few weeks. The conjunction is exact today, but the energy is still building. So write down what you actually want financially, what your heart says, not what your mind approves, and then take immediate action, because the closer to the exact conjunction you plant, the faster Saturn structures it. You might not get the full 36-year timeline, but you'll get something, and something is better than defaulting to nothing. Cancer, your career just restructured, and the authority you claimed yesterday is permanent today. Now Cancer sun, moon, or rising, Saturn just entered your 10th house. The house of career, public reputation, authority, legacy, and he joined Neptune at the exact degree. So whatever you decided about your professional life 48 hours ago, that decision just became your career trajectory for the next 36 years. Here's what I think happened for Cancer specifically. During that baby moon, you felt something shift about what success means to you. You realized that the career you've been building doesn't actually feed you, that the reputation you've been maintaining doesn't reflect who you are anymore, that the authority you've been trying to earn through toughness could actually come through tenderness. And if you planted that realization, if you wrote down, I build professional success through emotional intelligence, or my caring nature is my competitive advantage, or the more myself I am, the more successful I become, then today Saturn just made that your permanent professional identity. Today you woke up and your career is restructuring itself around your actual nature instead of around who you thought you had to be. Here's how you'll know it worked. Opportunities show up today or this week that specifically require your sensitivity, that value your emotional intelligence, that pay you because you care, not despite it. Maybe it's a leadership role that needs someone who can hold space. Maybe it's a client who wants depth, not just strategy. Maybe it's a collaboration where your nurturing energy is the actual asset. But whatever it is, it matches what you planted. Exactly. And if you didn't plant, if you're still trying to separate your professional self from your caring self, today Saturn made that split permanent. Today your career became a place where you have to perform hardness to be taken seriously, where showing emotion is weakness, where caring costs you authority, and you're going to spend the next 36 years exhausted by that performance, unless you replant right now. Here's the emergency protocol for Cancer if you didn't plant. Today, before this day ends, write this down. I am most powerful when I am most myself. My sensitivity is my authority. I build success through care, not despite it. And then do one thing today that demonstrates that truth. Cancel one meeting that requires you to perform. Set one boundary that protects your energy. Offer one gesture of care in your professional life without apologizing for it. And Saturn will start building around that new seed even though you planted it late. Scorpio, Your daily work became permanent, and it's either pleasure-based or pain-based forever. Okay, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Saturn just entered your sixth house, the house of daily routines, health, service, work habits. And he met Neptune at 0 degrees Aries. So the way you work, the way you structure your days, the way you relate to your body, that all just became permanent for the next 36 years. Here's the Scorpio-specific piece. You've been in a war with your own intensity, trying to calm down, trying to be more balanced, trying to make your work sustainable. And during that baby moon in your fifth house of pleasure and creativity, you felt something. You felt that maybe intensity isn't the problem, maybe trying to be calm is the problem, maybe your power comes from being exactly as intense as you are, but directing it toward pleasure instead of toward proving yourself. And if you planted that, if you wrote down, I work from pleasure, not from pressure, or my intensity creates wealth when I enjoy what I'm doing, or the more creative I am, the more successful I become, then today, Saturn just built you a daily routine where that's true. Today, you woke up and your work is restructuring itself around what you enjoy instead of around what you can endure. Here's what that looks like practically. You're going to find yourself saying no to work that drains you without guilt. Not eventually, today, this week, you're going to notice opportunities showing up that match your actual interests. Work that feels like play, projects that excite you, collaborations with people who energize you instead of exhaust you, and you're going to be able to sustain intensity in these areas because it's fueled by desire instead of by should. But if you didn't plant, if you're still running the old program where work has to be hard to be valuable, where intensity has to hurt to be real, where pleasure is a reward for suffering instead of a strategy for success, Saturn just made that your permanent daily reality. Today, your routine became a grind. Your health became something you sacrifice for productivity. Your service became martyrdom, and you're locked into that for 36 years unless you replant immediately. Emergency Scorpio protocol. Write this down today. I create from desire, not from discipline. My pleasure is my power. The work that feels good generates the most wealth. And then today, remove one thing from your routine that you're only doing because you think you should. Replace it with one thing you actually want to do, and watch Saturn start building your new structure around pleasure instead of pain. The 36-year timeline and what happens next for women who planted versus women who didn't. Alright, so here's what you need to understand about this conjunction. It's not just today. Today is the exact meeting. Today is when the seed gets the structure. But this energy is active for 36 years. From now until February 2062, whatever got structured today is growing, building, compounding, becoming more and more undeniable. For the women who planted correctly, here's the timeline. In the next 7 days, you see proof. Something shows up that matches exactly what you wrote down. It might be small, it might be a conversation, an email, an unexpected opportunity, but it's undeniable. It's confirmation that Saturn received your order and started building. In the next 7 months, you see structure. The thing you wanted starts having infrastructure around it. If you planted a business, you have clients and systems. If you planted a relationship, you have commitment and routines. If you planted wealth, you have revenue streams and investments. It's not complete yet, but it's real. It's structural. It's not just hope anymore. In the next 7 years, you see mastery. What you planted is now the thing you're known for, your authority, your expertise, your brand, and it happened so naturally that you barely remember when you weren't this person. The dream became so structural, it feels like it's always been your reality. And in 36 years, when Saturn and Neptune meet again, you look back at today and you think, that's when my life actually started. Everything before was preparation. Everything after was the real thing. For the women who didn't plant, the timeline is different. In the next 7 days, they see confirmation of their fears. The thing they were afraid would happen, happens, not dramatically, just subtly enough to confirm that yes, they're still in the old pattern. Yes, nothing actually changed. Yes, they missed the window. In the next 7 months, they see the structure of their default become more rigid. The patterns they've been running become harder to change. The beliefs they didn't challenge become more deeply embedded. The life they've been living becomes more permanent. In 7 years, they're frustrated, watching other people build what they wanted to build, wondering why everyone else got the breakthrough and they stayed stuck, not realizing it all came down to what they planted or didn't plant on February 19th, 2026. And in 36 years, they look back at today with regret. That's when I could have changed everything. That's when the portal was open. That's when I had the chance and I was too scared, too busy, too practical to take it. But here's the thing, even if you missed yesterday, even if you didn't plant during the baby moon, even if you're reading this and realizing you defaulted to your old patterns, it's not too late. Saturn and Neptune are together for weeks. The exact conjunction is today, but the energy is still active. So plant today, right now, before this day ends. Feel into what you actually want. Write it down. Take one action toward it, and Saturn will still structure it. It might not be the full 36-year timeline, but it's something, and something built with intention is worth more than 36 years of default. All right, it's happening right now. Saturn and Neptune at 0 degrees Aries, the rarest alignment in 9,000 years. The dreams you planted are becoming structure. The desires you felt are becoming destiny. The feminine vision is receiving masculine architecture, and for the next 36 years, what you chose today grows into your reality. The wealthy women planted with intention. Their dreams are becoming real today. The broke women waited for permission. Their fears became permanent today. Which one are you? And if you're realizing you're the second one, what are you planting right now to change it?